Hello and welcome to Winton Motor Raceway. Thank you for joining me. Since my last race, I've participated in 9 or 10 other races. I always qualified somewhere in the middle, and I always got crashed out either in turn 1 or on any of the straights by cars veering into me. So I decided not to qualify here at all, assuming everyone in front of me would crash out. This is a strategy I had seen from other YouTubers, and I decided to give it a go. I gave it lots of room here and barely managed to slow the car down to go around these two people in front of me. I've already made up 2 spots with this new strategy. So far I'm thinking this is working out quite interestingly. I poke my nose in, but I don't quite go for the gap, which is probably the better decision here at this narrow track. Everyone gives each other plenty of space, and I give the cars too much space and I veer off track by doing so. Now, I slow down and I don't go back on the track because I do know there are cars behind me looking at the relative, giving everyone plenty of space, and I'm back to the last position. Fantastic start so far. I made up 2 positions, I lost 2 positions, but the car is still functioning and running. If you're new to this channel, thank you for joining me. Car off to the left. I need to avoid it. Barely missed this car on the left coming back on track. As I was saying, if you're new to this channel, thank you for joining me. And if you were expecting some kind of alien level driving, you won't be seeing it from me. I'm new to iRacing and sim racing. I've been at it for about 2 or 3 weeks at this point, and I'm just trying my best to stay on track, and I welcome you to join me on this interesting journey as I improve my racecraft, as I make my way through Rookie Series and into these other series, hopefully eventually. The cars in front of me did make contact with each other, forcing the bluish red car number 5 to slow down, and I can go past them. I'm not going to stick my nose in here and go for this long last dive, but I'm going to try to optimize my entry exit onto these last 2 corners here so that I can have a straight fast run down this final first straight. Again, trying to use techniques I've seen from other YouTubers, trying to use slipstream. I go past this car, miss my shifting point in the excitement, but eventually I do shift up, and I'm already gaining a lot of space between me and the car I've just overtaken. Into this first turn here, the cars in front of me are trying to fight it out, going off track, bumping into each other, but they're both managing to stay on track at this point still. Now, I think I could go for it here, but again, I have to remember another piece of advice from another YouTuber that basically said, you don't always have to go for every single gap. There are better points on this track, on other tracks, on every track where you should go for it. Let's just take a pause here for a moment before we watch what happens next. And I want to preface this by saying that the beginning of the race felt very wholesome. I thought I had found a good community. People in this race were participants in the race prior to this. Names repeated. It was very nice. Everyone wished each other a good race. People were friendly. People responded. And then this happens here. Now, I don't know if this was deliberate at this point in the race, so I decide to give this person the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they didn't see the car coming up on the left. But I don't want to take my chances. I know I'm faster than this car in front of me, and I take a wide line into this little chicane here, into these tight S's. The car behind me decides to go for the gap and go through it. This is an excellent opportunity for me to observe the car in front of me racing, the red car in particular. And I get to this point and they both take each other out. Now, again, I don't know if this was deliberate at this point in the race, but I am trying to make my way through here and get it down this straight through these corners, putting as much time between myself and the cars behind me as possible. I don't want to be anywhere near them in case this was deliberate or in case they just don't have the car control. After being crashed into in the last 8, 9, 10 races, always on straights for some reason, or turn 1, I've also changed my approach to racing based on some of the advice I've heard from other YouTubers, and one of the things that resonated with me was one particular YouTuber, I forget who it was at this point, saying that in order to be a good racing driver, it doesn't just mean that you do not crash into other cars, but it also means that you put your car in positions where other cars cannot crash into you. And I took that to heart, so that's why I was going through this race from position at the very end, trying to make my way through the field, trying to stay on track, trying to just be consistent, trying to be fast, trying to figure out the lines that would get me through here faster as the tires change, wreckage. All of this is a learning experience for me because I am still new in iRacing. So every turn I do not go off track, every turn I do not bump into other cars, every turn that I am not in a position where other cars bump into me, that to me is a little bit of a success, and that's a base from which I can build. The next couple of turns here are again a little bit of a lonely race, as I often find myself in these lonely races. The top 1, 2, 3 cars are usually in a group on their own. The other cars behind them, a handful of them, or half a handful of them, are keeping their own pace. I'm somewhere in the middle, and then there are cars behind me. I'm still trying very hard to increase the gap to the cars behind me. At this point in the race, I was probably, if I remember correctly, about 4 or 5 seconds in front of them. Plenty of time, but no time to waste here. I did not want them to come anywhere close to me. I did not want them to be having the ability to cut the course and get closer again. So I'm rushing through these corners here. I've actually put in one of my best laps right after these incidents when I was trying to really increase the gap between me and the cars behind me. We have a few laps before the next incident happens. I just don't know that yet, so my focus again is to continue to increase the gap to the cars behind, maybe catch up the cars in front, and just to go through these turns as quickly as I can, trying to maintain my speed, trying to figure out the best lines as the tires are changing, and I'm consistently trying to stay on track and continue pushing. We've skipped ahead a couple of turns, and I want you to keep an eye on the right side of the screen here on the bottom window. Here on the bottom video, you'll see a red car coming out of nowhere once I hit that little straight after the next right turn here. I thought this was the same car that took out the other two in these other two incidents. I was wrong later as I reviewed it, but there was another one of those wild cards coming across the field in a second here, and I thought they were aiming straight for me, so I go for it. I push the throttle down and I try to make my way out of here as quickly as I possibly can. And on the bottom you can see them on the right coming for it, and there they go. We'll review this in a second here, but again I'm like, what is going on here? What's going on? I need to get out of the way. I need to get as far away as possible. Here comes the red car. I'm not sure if they just can't make it through or if they see another car they do want to take out intentionally. After reviewing this in the replays, I think they just lost control and decided to take the shortcut and make it back on track. Unfortunately, I was just there and I felt a little bit like I was a sitting duck, so I make my way out of here as fast as I can and try to put in another couple of fast laps for the upcoming rounds. Now let's get back to the main event, which is my race, and seeing how I do in this particular race. And as we'll see at the end of this video, it's always important or interesting to review some of these incidents, because what I thought initially, or maybe wasn't sure if they were done intentionally, turns out they were probably just people losing control or not having enough control based on what they're using and trying to do. It's always good to review, give people the benefit of the doubt, and assume everyone is just trying to do the best they possibly can. Everyone is at a different stage in their journey. I'm at a different stage than you are. I will drive far worse, make far more mistakes than you, and just give me the benefit of the doubt. I try to stay out of your way. Nothing is malicious. I'm just trying to learn and improve as well. For the remainder of the race, my goal is to put as much time and track between me and the cars behind me, because they are still going for it, they're still fighting with each other, and I don't want to get involved in it, so I'm trying to increase the gap here, or at least keep the gap from shrinking. I'm also not able to close the gap to the cars in front of me. That stays consistent. Like I said, the number 1 car, the number 2 and 3 cars, they are at their own pace. They are quite a bit faster than me. As my strategy of working my way through the field in a consistent and deliberate manner by simply staying on track as best as I possibly can and trying to go through these corners and turns and straight lines as fast as I reasonably can at my skill level, I ended up currently being in P4. Also now, being in P4 meant that I had to go a few more laps. Usually when I was ending in the end, or finishing the races near the end, I would have to do about 6 laps on this particular track. Now I'm having to do 7, 8 laps perhaps, trying to keep up with the leaders out at the front. This was an unusual experience. I did not know how the tires would react. Also, I became a little bit tired probably, and made more mistakes. So I was trying to be conscientious of that and focus really on my driving for these last couple of laps here. But nothing really exciting happens anymore to me in this race. I'm going through these turns in a mostly consistent way, trying new things, trying to be a little bit more daring on some cases when I feel like I have a little bit of room to make mistakes. But again, trying to stay on track where it matters and just trying to bring it home safely in P4. This was the first time I finished in the top 6, and I did not want to mess this up in the end. The gap to the cars behind me at this point is still around 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, something like that. And I just want to bring it home. I have a couple of laps to go. I know I could do it, and I just needed to keep it together. So let's save everyone at least 3-4 minutes here of their day and skip ahead to the end of the race and review what happened with these two incidents where the car in front of me bumped into a car twice. And let's see whether I made the right decision to just wait it out and go by safely, or whether I should have pushed it sooner to go by sooner. We will jump ahead to the final turn in the final lap, and like I said earlier, I did review the footage of the red car that bumped into the cars in front of me twice, and it quite honestly looks like they were really trying to avoid contact. They were trying to avoid other cars and trying to steer around them, but it also looked like they were using a console controller, and those little console controllers don't give the same fine-grained control over the cars as a steering wheel does. So he did the best he could, and hats off to his driving ability to stick it out until the very end of this race. That's it from me. It was a little bit of a lonely race towards the end here, that's why we skipped ahead so much, but my strategy seems to have worked out. Let me know in the comments if that strategy is viable initially, at least until I gain more experience with car control and the likes. But what my strategy was here was clearly to not qualify and start from P12, just keeping it on the track and making sure I practice going around other cars on the track as they have incidents and block the racetrack or go off the track and or come back onto the track. That was my strategy for now. Soon I think I will start again with qualifying and then being in the middle of the pack and trying to avoid T1 chaos while being in the middle of the pack until I get good enough to start from the front rows. And that's going to take some time, I think, a couple of weeks, months if that. And then we can try this other strategy out and see how that goes. For now, I think starting at the back is the best choice for me, as it allows me to really hone in my driving skills without that much pressure just yet. And as I get better, I'll increase the pressure and hopefully can qualify again in the middle of the packs or at the front or near the front at least, and then see how I improve and do from there during the initial phases of the race. Thank you everyone for joining me in this exciting race, watching me go from last to P4 in this nice racetrack here in rookie Mazda class. And if you like the content or want to follow along as I progress through these different race series over the weeks, months to come, please hit the like and subscribe button. Hope to see you again next time. Have a great day everyone. Bye bye.